Hey all, I am Surendra Reddy. Every year, thousands of students dream of studying at the world's top universities. But success in the digital SAT doesn't come from hard work alone. It comes from a smart preparation. That's exactly why I created this complete digital SAT handbook. In this video, let me take you through everything you need to know to begin your SAT journey with confidence. This video will cover the entire journey, the syllabus, the pattern, the strategies, whatnot, everything. Let's get started. Before I start, I would just wanted to give a brief intro about myself. I've been doing this quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning for more than 13 years at Learn Q and LR. What we teach quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, SAT math, IP math, CLAT, CUT, and many more. So in our journey, we have mentored thousands of students and also did personalized mentoring to achieve their targeted scores. So this is a brief intro about me. Now let's get started. The digital SAT being explained in part 1. Why anybody can consider writing a digital SAT? Why? Because if someone wanted to study in abroad, what are the exposure they can get through it? They can get the world-class education, international exposure, they'll get best research opportunities, higher earning potential, they can get global career prospects, scholarships and financial aid. These are some of the reasons anybody can consider to write SAT exam. What is the digital SAT is about? So this is created by College Board, the same body that runs AP and PSAT. The duration of the exam is for 2 hours change. It is shorter than the old paper-based SAT. Earlier it used to be more than 3.5 hours. The sections will be tested on reading and writing and mathematics. And the format would be fully adaptive testing. I'll tell you later case what is the meaning of fully adaptive testing. And it is delivered via the Bluebook app. And the best thing about the digital SAT is calculator is allowed throughout the math portion, math sections. What is the structure of digital SAT then? You will be having 2 reading modules followed by 2 math modules, and calculator is allowed. You will have shorter but very few word problems. It is a multi-stage adaptive testing. What is the meaning of adaptive testing? Module 2 of each of the section adjusts its difficulty based on how a student performs in module 1. So that's why we keep telling the students to have catch hold on each and every topic so that you can perform better even module 1, which elevates your score to 650 to 700 minimum. So sometimes people keep telling me, sir, how much ever I do good, I'm not able to cross 600. The reason is the adaptivity of the test is playing a role. If you do not perform well in module 1, you are limiting your marks to 600 change in math. So that's why stronger performance unlocks a harder and higher scoring in module 2, which is how they differentiate top scorers precisely. So get the concepts properly. That we will talk about in the later stage of this video. What is the exam structure then? You will have 2 reading module and writing module, 2 math modules. These are the number of questions. Time for section is mentioned over there. I'll talk more about the mathematics part because I handle math in person. There'll be 20 operational questions and 2 pre-test questions per each module. So the count of math questions would be 22 and 22, 44 questions to be answered in 70 minutes. Now going by the digital SAT scoring, the score ranges from 400 to 1600, and each of the sections, the minimum mark would be 200, maximum mark is 800. We call perfect score as 800 in math. Okay, our agenda is to get a perfect score in math, that is 800 out of 800, for which what you have to do, we will try to throw some light in this video. What are the score bands? Different people ask me, sir, I got 1200, is it good or bad? So this is a brief classification about the marks. 1200 is taken to be good, 1350 a bit competitive, 1450 is taken to be an excellent score, 1500 is outstanding, and 1550 you are into elite people who scored above 1550. Let's understand the part 2. What are the universities and the scholarships somebody can get through writing the digital SAT? So the world's finest universities and the funding routes, a strong score opens up. That's the reason focus digital SAT. Focus on your SAT preparation. So these are some of the world's finest universities which are accepting the SAT score. As no need to introduce about these universities, MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Yale, Columbia, whatnot, many more. And you have University of Pennsylvania, Caltech, Duke University, and many more universities are there which are accepting SAT score, a digital SAT score. So that's why we keep telling the people a truly global spread. The digital SAT is our single passport across all the regions. So make a best effort to get good score in SAT. So these are the scholarships that you can refer this slide. I'm skipping this part. Now earlier, people used to talk about going for abroad by writing SAT exam. But nowadays, many of the top Indian universities are accepting SAT scores. Let me name those universities for time being. Ashoka University, Flames University, Plaksha, Kriya, Shivnadar, OP Zindal, Mahindra, Bennett, Ahmedabad, BML Munjal, OP Zindal Sonipat, Oxford University, Symbiosis International University, SRM, VIT, Vellore, Manipal. There are many more universities accepting SAT score. Let's try to compare. If someone wanted to get into Symbiosis, is it better to write distal SAT or any other format of the exams? So as every one of you might be aware of these exams, if not, you can refer this slide. Compared to all the exams, distal SAT is a bit moderate in difficulty. This is more of student friendly. Why I'm saying this student friendly? Distal SAT tests your understanding of the subject. It doesn't test your knowledge on numbers like simplification skills. That's the reason distal SAT is providing on-screen calculator throughout the test. In fact, we will solve some of the simultaneous equation questions by using Desmos calculator, which makes our job easier. So distal SAT questions are framed in such a way that our knowledge is tested through tools. Right, that's the importance of writing distal SAT, guys. Okay, you can refer this slide for a better understanding. I want to discuss some strategies regarding mathematics as well. Now, section-wise strategy. Now we talked about why someone can write SAT. What is the advantage of writing SAT? Now let's understand in part 3 of this video, what is a section-wise strategy? I am not a very right person to talk about a verbal ability, but since I understand this SAT format, depends upon my knowledge. I understood whatever I understood. I have written this in this form. Always build a strong foundation, no matter which of the subject, it could be math or in English. Practice. After that, practice adaptive tests where the difficulty will keep changing from module to module. The most important thing, maintain an error log that leads to your score as elite 1550 plus. Now coming to reading strategy. This is the common information that I have gathered from the known people. So always look for information on graphics, vocabulary in context, the purpose, inference, evidence-based questions, charts and data, and finally, all put together, time management is very important at tool. Grammar strategy is this. You can just refer this. Now let me talk about distal SAT math. So we divided this syllabus into 4 sections, 4 modules, I would say. Algebra, very important, around 13 to 15 questions comes from algebra. The topics would be linear equations in 1 and 2 variables, linear functions, system of 2 linear equations, linear inequalities, and there are other questions as well. Now, word problems regarding algebra. Now, coming to advanced math, all the school math that you have learned till 8th to 10th standard will be tested in this. And then you will have problem solving and data analysis like percentage, ratios, interest problems, probability, statistics, mean, median, mode, everything will come into it. And then geometry and trigonometry. The importance of knowing each and every topic in detail is the reason of computer adaptive test. As we told that the question difficulty will keep changing, depends our inputs in the first section. So until unless you have a thorough knowledge on each of the topics, you cannot get a perfect score, right? Perfect score. Now what to master in it? What are the strategies we follow for distal math? Will equation solving by using a Desmos strategy, regression tools, finding intersections, tables and sliders, graph transformations. These are some of the things we follow in Desmos calculator strategy. Some of the quicker tips I would say, plug in the answer choices, graph on both sides, use the tables to test patterns instantly. Don't over rely on Desmos calculator all the time. Mental math is faster than some of the times entering the equations into Desmos. You need to understand what kind of questions you can use Desmos. So for that sake, I have come up with a couple of questions, how to solve them in a systematic way. Then how can you use the Desmos to make it easy for questions, right? So what is the typical way of solving this question, guys? So in typical math, we will try to write down the equations like this is 5x plus 13y equal to 124. Then we will try to solve these simultaneous equations, no? But don't you think this is a time-taking process? So that is where the Desmos play an important role. Now let me open a Desmos calculator. Okay. So in this, I'm trying to write an expression. What is the expression? Our expression is 12x plus 15y equal to 249. 5x plus 13y is 124. We wanted to get the value of y upon x. What is the advantage of placing these two equations in the Desmos? We'll try to find out what is the intersection point. What do you mean by solving two simultaneous equations? Indirectly, we will try to find out their intersecting point, which help us to get y and x values. Let's go for the Desmos calculator. Now let me type the equations as 12x plus 15y is equal to, another equation is what? 5x plus 13y is equal to 124. Now do you see we are getting the point of intersection. What is the point of intersection? If you observe the x coordinate, this is 5, this is 10, 15, 16, 17. So x coordinate is 17 for this equation. What is the y coordinate, dear students? 1, 2, 3. So x is 17 and y is 3. That's the beauty of using Desmos calculator wisely. So what is the x coordinate? 17. What is the y coordinate? 3. That's your answer. So in this way, we will try to teach some of the strategies to save the time. Management is ultimate goal. So let's do one more question. How to use Desmos in couple of questions we will try to show you. Now, another question, another strategy. The tables above represents the data points for two linear equations. So by using equation one table, you may get to know one of the equation. The second equation will form another equation. Then if you try to form two equations and then try to solve them, those may intersect at some point. And for that point, we wanted to get the x-intercept. That's our question. But again, if you try to solve the equation of the line passing through 2 points, we might go on through the coordinate geometry, right? x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2. What is the equation of the line passing through 2 points? Which is y minus y1 equal to slope times x minus x1. This is too time taking. Then how to solve it quickly? Okay. Again, we will use the Desmos calculator. So I'm trying to form two equations. For that, let me add some table here. I'm entering the values as -2 and 6. Another point is 0, 4. Let me add a couple of values to form equations. 0, 4, 1, 2. So this I'm taking the equationaries, guys. So I have formed an equation. Now for the second equation, I'm entering the equation 2 points, that is -8 and we need to enter the table, right? 1 second. And a tabular value. So I'm entering the values from table 2, that is -8 and -6. I'll show you the question. I'm just trying to enter the values, guys. And -4 and -7. Let me pick up one more point, 0 and -6. So if you plot these two, did we enter the points correct, by the way? Not E1. 1 second. Okay, I think we entered it wrong. 1 second. Let us enter it properly. So that's why you need to catch hold on using Desmos calculator properly. So -2 and 6 and 0, 4. I've entered a couple of points. I'll enter one more point, then we'll plot them. Okay, this is -8 and not values, right? We need to enter the table value here. -8 and -8. Let's take a 0 and -6, 4 and -5. Now here we'll form regression line. We have formed it. Here also we have formed regression point. Now that's the beauty. You see x and y coordinates at what point? This is x-axis 5. This is 6, 7, 8. You see the coordinate point is what? This 8 only, no? This point. So you see what is the intersecting point? If you click on the intersecting point, you will come to the point is 8, -4. So what is the point? We got it as x as 8, y as -4. So solving it regularly takes a lot of time. So use the Desmos calculator wisely to make it easy. Okay, let's do one more word problem, how to solve it. At a certain toy store, tiny stuffed pandas cost $3.5 each and giant stuffed pandas cost $14 each. If a store has 29 pandas in total and made $217 in revenue in 1 week, how many tiny stuffed and how many giant stuffed pandas were sold? Some of the times SAT may ask you to form equations and some of the times it may expect you to solve and get a number like this. So I'm trying to teach you both ways here. Let's say there are X number of tiny stuffed pandas, Y number of giant stuffed pandas. So one of the equation is the number of pandas, which is 29. Coming to revenue model, each tiny stuffed panda cost is $3.5. X pandas would be 3.5 into X. Here it would be 14 into Y. The sum of these two would be $217, right? Now, you know how much time it will take to solve these two simultaneous equations. Now let's try to use our Desmos strategy again. So these two equations I'm going to enter here. Okay, what is that? X plus y is 29. Let me remove these two guys. What is the first equation? X plus y is equal to, the second equation would be 3.5 times x plus 14 times y is equal to, the revenue is 217. Okay, what is intersecting point now? See, intersecting point would be, x-intercept is at 18, no? You see, 0, 5, 10. Otherwise, touch it. That's the point. What is it point? That is 18 and 11. So x is 18, y is 11. So x is 18 and y is 11. That's the beauty of Desmos calculator. 18 tiny stuffed pandas, 11 giant stuffed pandas. Hope it is making sense. You see, we got the coordinate point. What is that intersecting point? That is 18 and 11. So x is tiny stuffed, y is giant stuffed. Let's do one more thing where people think it is very easy but tend to do mistakes. Equivalent to z power 570 minus z power 480 by 2 into z power 30. We know one of the basic thumb rule learned in our school, x power m by x power n would be x power m minus n. If you go by this rule, this is 5 power z power 570 minus z power 480 by z power 30. I'm keeping this 1 by 2 aside for time being. Okay, let me regroup like this. Now half times the term like this, right? Z power 480 by z power 30. So this is half into z power. What is x power m by x power n? X power m minus n. What is 570 minus 30? 540 minus z power 480 minus 30 would be 450. Hence, that's our option 1. So some of the times people tend to do mistakes expecting the questions to be simple, right? So you need to be very cautious in doing the questions, guys. Let us do one more question. I'm trying to show you what is the content we teach through this, the video. What are the types of questions you can expect in the video? Let's do it. Special relativity is a branch of physics that deals with the relationship between the space and the time. The Lorentz term, a term that relates the change in time, length, and relative mass of a moving object, is given by the following formula. In SAT, they'll take any context to form any equation. But ultimately, what is the expected question here? Read before you solve. Read it twice, understand it properly, then only take a step. Where v is the relative velocity of the object, c is the speed of light in vacuum. Which of the following equations correctly represents the relative velocity? Relative velocity is v in terms of gamma and c. So these are the mini mathematical steps we generally follow. Let us transpose these two guys. Okay, in place of gamma, take under root 1 minus v square by c square. Now to eliminate this square root on both sides, then square can be taken out. 1 minus v square by c square equal to 1 by gamma square. Now transpose 1 minus gamma square is equal to what? V square by c square. Make it as a single term. Cross multiply c square to left side. This becomes c square times 1 minus 1 by gamma square is equal to v square. As we wanted to isolate the value of v, take square root on both sides. Hence v equal to c into under root 1 minus 1 by gamma square. So what is the option? Is it an option 4, right? So likewise, I try to show you some couple of questions from algebra. Okay. Now, what is a Bluebook strategy? What is the thing you have to do? So you can practice official practice tests, structured practice schedule you need to follow, do the mock analysis, try to maintain the error log, mistake journals, make sure to identify your weak areas, strengthen them, practice them thoroughly, and approach for your targeted retesting. Now let us come to an end. That is part 4. What is the roadmap for it then? So try to build a strong concepts because SAT will test your core concepts. Practice more on topic-wise practices, time-based tests, Desmos and Bluebook fluency, you need to have it. Like I've shown you a couple of questions on Desmos calculator usage. And then the phase 3 is going to be a full-length adaptive mock test and applying your error analysis and learn where you are doing mistakes. Try to improve your speed and accuracy drills. So I do not want to generalize the practice now. It depends upon your intake level. You can plan your strategy, morning, afternoon, evening, night. Depends upon your individual thing. You can practice this. And what are the common mistakes to avoid while preparing your SAT? Overconfidence after writing one good mock. Weak fundamentals in algebra. This will make you to ruin your SAT score. Make sure to have a strong fundamentals in algebra. Skipping post mock review. Just writing a mock doesn't help you unless you rectify your mistakes. Ignoring grammar rules entirely when it comes to vocabulary and English. Poor time management across modules. Lack of proper practice will get you the poor time management. And finally, not keeping an error log. Unless you do not rectify mistakes, there is no use of writing mocks. A typical student journey should look like this, guys. Take a diagnostic test. Once we understand, build your concepts, write topic tests as discussed, adaptive tests, elevate your score to 1500 plus. These are some of the resources, and this is where we master it. We have topic-wise practice worksheets. We have a personal prepared content by understanding the latest digital SAT pattern and the difficulty levels, and make sure to follow a personal mistake journals. Formula and concept handbook will be given to us. And community and supportive wise, we do one-on-one mentor check-ins. Weekly doubt clarifying sessions also will be taken care, and these are the official practice websites you can follow. So why learn QA and all? You would have understood by the way we have taken through this video. You might have understood we do a strong concept-based teaching. We do personalized mentoring. We make sure our students write weekly mock tests. We do their performance analysis, and we conduct the doubt clearing sessions. And we are very specialized in digital math. And finally, our preparation is completely strategy driven along with the concepts. That's why come to Learn QA and LR. I thought of discussing a few more questions, but I think the video length goes too big when the time permits. So I thought of doing a few more questions, guys. And coming to our action plan, you can plan according to your thing. As I said, one thing I would like to convey is every strong and great score begins with a disciplined plan. Have a plan on the paper, execute it. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much. Hope this video helped you to go through the SAT. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great time.